Hi there, welcome back to Horror Movie Collector. In this video I'd like to go over some more of my horror movie posters that I have. Unlike the previous two videos that I did on the Hellraiser and Nightmare on Elm Street posters, whereas they're all together, so they're more of a franchise of films, whereas these ones they're just a mixture of favourite horror films that I grew up with in the mid-80s, early 90s that I grew up watching and came to admire and absolutely loved. So starting off over here with these two. These are from the Fright Night series. So the first one is German, and it's been folded, this poster. So this is from 1985, and I just really love the shot with the house and the light on, with the neighbour looking out across the street, as it was obviously to do with the vampire as the neighbour that lived across the street. So it was like a comedy horror, but I really love the shot with the vampire image above the house there, with absolutely huge mouth, and these sort of like clouds sort of filtering off, like with demonic sort of entities feeding off the face image there. And then again, very similar with the second film, which is I believe is from 1988. The second film is more on a female vampire. So the first one was the male vampire, and this one was the female one. And very similar posters. So again, this is German. It's been folded, and the building's different in this one. You've just got one light on in the top room up the top there. So it's just really effective shot, and I just love the artwork on both these posters. And again, it would be absolutely fantastic going into the cinema at that time period and seeing that for the first time. Would just be absolutely fantastic. And then moving on to here, you have a re-release from the 1973 The Exorcist that caused so many problems when it was released at the time, which I'm sure most of everybody knows about. But again, this is a very simple poster. It's all in black, and just a few sort of yellowy shots there with the priest outside Regan's parents' house there, and outstanding performance by Linda Blair. And you know, there's a lot of possession films that have been made over the years, and I'm thinking, when I see them, I always relate back to this one. This is like the real first original possession of a young child. But really great film, and of course at the time it scared the hell out of me when I first saw it, and I won't shy away from it, but I do sometimes struggle to watch it even now. But that's just my viewpoint. And then moving on around here, you have, this is just a print. This is actually from the 1925 Phantom of the Opera with Lon Chaney. So this is an old black and white silent film, but it's my most favourite Phantom of the Opera character that he played. And the scene where he's in the red cloak and the hat and the skull mask is the Mask of the Red Death, where he's coming down the steps in the opera theatre towards the end of the film, and it's all shot in Technicolor, so it's a very effective shot, and I think really ahead of its time for that time period. And obviously it's based in France, because you can just hear the Eiffel Tower there. So of course, I would like to get an original poster from that film, but or from this particular film, but it would be very pricey, as it's an older film to get a hold of. And then moving on over here, you have The Shining. This is another thing that I grew up with. I watched so many times. Again, I can watch it now and still don't get bored. But this is an original from the Shining, 1980, with the main images there of Jack Nicholson and Shelley Duvall, and it's the most famous image from the film that we all know, where he's got his head through the door, and then the axe scene towards the end of the film. And just love the title there, above that it's got the tide of terror that swept America is here. So again, that would be really amazing going into the cinema at that time to see that at the first time when it came out. And then moving on down here, this is from Candyman. This is a again another of the imagination, it says on there, of Clive Barker. He was the creator, also famous for Hellraiser. So this is actually one of his short books, his short stories from the Forbidden, I believe, which is from the Books of Blood series. And then when it was remade into a film, it was called Candyman instead of the Forbidden. So there it is. So dare you say his name 5 times, Candyman. Great shot there with his sort of dark figure image in the eye there. Great poster. And then moving on to 1992, again you have Bram Stoker's Dracula, Love Never Dies. And again, great poster. I love all the scenes around the edge, sort of the black and white, dark images, all different characters from the film. And you have Gary Oldman, and then Keanu Reeves, and Anthony Hopkins, and just to name a few well-known film stars that are in the film. But it's Gary Oldman's performance, I think, is absolutely outstanding. He plays a very different style of the traditional Count Dracula. So he was sort of took on the role and sort of created this completely different character as he portrayed the younger version of the Count, and then also he was the old version of the Count, and then played the Bat and the Werewolf. So he had different sort of characters in one film there, but really, really good film. And again, when it first came out, I think I lost count how many times I watched it, because I was just so hooked and so into it at that time. And then moving on, this is the most favourite werewolf film of mine. This is actually a German poster which is folded from an American Werewolf in London, the John Landis classic. It's got just American Werewolf as the title there, but it is actually American Werewolf in London. And even to this day, it still stands as my most favourite werewolf transformation, from the creator of Rick Baker, who created the transformation and the makeup for the werewolf, which is absolutely brilliant. And even now, with all the CGI and what have you for other horror films or werewolf films, there's a huge difference. So I always prefer the old-fashioned way. It just looks more authentic and more real. And again, when I first saw this, I think it was on TV. They put it on one year when I wasn't very old at the time, and actually scared the hell out of me. And obviously, I came back to it when I was older and absolutely hooked. So absolutely loved the special effects for this film. The best werewolf film for special effects. And then finally, just moving on to this poster, which is a re-release from the 1958 classic Dracula, which portrayed Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee. And this was his very first outing as the famous Count. And then, of course, after that, he made many more Dracula movies for the Hammer films. But really loved this poster. Just one side there takes one's breath away. Of all Draculas, Christopher Lee is the most truly terrifying. He is one of my favourites as the traditional Count Dracula. I would say him and with Gary Oldman for me are the best Draculas. But again, really striking poster with his shot just coming out at you there. Really, really great shot, and that would be absolutely fab to see that going into the theatre in the lobby or just before you're about to go in to see the film. So fantastic artwork on all these posters, and the next thing that I hope to do is try and sort out all my lobby cards and go through those on the various films connected to these film posters as well. So yeah, so that's it. So thanks for watching this video, and keep a lookout for the next one. Thank you. Bye.